When I was a little boy, my mum was trying to explain the Easter story to me, and the best way to get the attention of children, as we all know, is food. And I always wanted just to eat the chocolate Easter eggs, but my mum would keep the Easter eggs that we would get given as children. We weren't allowed to eat them until Easter Sunday. And what she used to say to me is, there is no eggs without the cross. So on Good Friday, we had to eat hot cross buns. Now, I didn't like hot cross buns very much because I don't like raisins in bread, but I had it because I knew I wouldn't get the chocolate Easter eggs otherwise. My mum used to tell me that the Easter egg, it wasn't really meant to be like that, but she said, what I want you to think about is the Easter egg is like a big stone that had to be rolled away from Jesus' tomb. But you don't get that until you've had the cross first. And so Easter is really a story of two parts. There's the depressing bit, as somebody said to me this week, and then there's the happy bit afterwards. So I get the depressing bit, unfortunately. Just before we go into that, I'd just like us to bow our heads for a moment. Dear Lord, we thank you for the message of Easter. We recognise that it's two very different things, that there is a great, serious part of it, a very solemn part of it, as we understand your death and why you came. But there is also a great celebration to be had. And so I pray you'll help us to understand a little better today, both aspects, that we can share in it for you. In Christ's name. Amen. Okay. And we have the first picture here. Can you put your hands up if you were here last night? Okay, for those of you who weren't here last night, we had something very special for the teens. We had what's called an agape feast, which is essentially a reenactment of the Last Supper, where we share a communion meal together, and we had foot washing, and we had communion. Our very own Pastor Art played Jesus, and the elders played the senior disciples, and the rest of us got to hang along and eat as well. And it was a wonderful experience, and many of the teams trying to understand a little bit more about what Easter was about. And if you want to see what we got up to, have a look on the church website tomorrow, and hopefully the video will be available. I promised the people who came last night that this morning we were going to leave off exactly where we finished. And we finished with Jesus and the disciples leaving the Last Supper to go to the Garden of Gethsemane. So that's where I'm going to pick up today. And because Easter is quite a dramatic time, my sermon, if you like, is in the form of a poem today. So please bear with us, and I hope you enjoy it. The last sermon. It had been a still, peaceful night, but now the silence is torn apart. What a pitiful sight. The snoring of his companions had been the only sound, but now a sobbing comes from the God-man lying upon the ground. Father, please, no, yet not my will, but yours be done. So is his decision sealed, and angels come to strengthen Christ Jesus, the Anointed One. Fully humanity, fully deity, the Son of God accepts to die to save you and me. Broken again is the still night air as the clank of steel approaches and his companions despair. Dragged away, a kiss marks his betrayal by a friend. His disciples flee, leaving him alone to face his end. Dragged from courtyard to palace, judged, mocked, beaten, black and blue. Finally, his crucifixion deemed the righteous thing to do. The foreigner defends him, but his own receive him not. So they nail him to a tree, and for his clothes the soldiers cast lots. To create all life took him 6 measured days, but his will be taken in 6 hours, because of our wicked ways. Yet no self-absorption as these dreadful hours he does live, for he has one last sermon of mercy for all to give. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Eternal mercy is demonstrated to all who have come to view. And Nicodemus remembers now the lesson that the Master gave. The Son came not to condemn, but he came to save. Fully humanity, fully deity, the Son of God now reintroduces family. Dear woman, here is your son, and here your mother. Not a family of flesh and blood, but of faith, a Christian sister and Christian brother. Not yet complete, but such love has set at least one soul free. Lord, in your kingdom, would you please remember me. He had cursed and ridiculed, but as death beckoned, the robber found the better way. And Christ replied, truly you have found through me paradise today. Fully humanity, fully deity, humanity cries out in agony. My God, why have you forsaken me? He pleads for the power to call all heaven's hosts through the sky, but his own mercy constrains him. His own love demands he must die. Fully humanity, fully deity, humanity cries out again, I thirst. He cries to murderous men. Yet the thirst of the ages for salvation his lips imply. He refuses to drink, for man's thirst only his blood can supply. Fully humanity, fully deity, the divine cries out now in victory. It is finished. As death comes to claim the God-man hanging on a tree. Certain now of the end, God is dead, a victim of sin. Satan rejoices. Little does he know, it is only just beginning. Father, into your hands my spirit I give now. He starts and ends with his Father as death dawns on that thorn-crowned brow. Now forever reunited is God and man. Finally is completed sacrifice's wonderful plan. Can you see him now? Hung there on that tree. The God-man gave his all for you and for me. Will you ignore his death's door final cry? Believe in me, for you I came to die.